Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We are so excited to have you again. Nigerians are currently very happy and celebrating considering the Ecowas Court of Justice in Abuja landmark ruling today against the federal government. Don't forget that some few weeks ago, the federal government suspended Twitter and promised to arrest anyone who is using VPN to access Twitter in Nigeria. But shockingly, Ecowas has liberated Nigerians and returned back the fundamental human right of Nigerians pending when the whole case will be handled. Don't forget that Serap came up to correct this ill. Let's look at what happened in court today. But before we do that, if you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly hit on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. The Ecowas Court of Justice in Abuja in landmark ruling today restrained the government of President Muhammad Buhari and its agents from unlawfully imposing sanctions or doing anything whatsoever to harass, intimidate, arrest, or prosecute Twitter and or any other social media service provider, media houses, radio and television broadcast station, the plaintiffs and other Nigerians who are Twitter users pending the hearing and determination of these suits. The ruling followed the suit filed against the government of Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project, Serap, and 176 concerned Nigerians, arguing that the unlawful suspension of Twitter in Nigeria, criminalization of Nigerians and other people using Twitter have escalated repression of human rights and unlawfully restricted the right of Nigerians and other people to freedom of expression, access to information, and media freedom in the country. The court gave the order after hearing argument from solicitor to Serap Femi Falana son and lawyer to the government, Maimuna Siru. The court said the court has listened very well to the objection by Nigeria. The court has this to say: any interference with Twitter is viewed as interference with human rights, and that will violate human rights. Therefore, this court has jurisdiction to hear the case. The court also hereby ordered that the application be heard expeditiously. The Nigerian government must take immediate steps to implement the order. This development was disclosed today by Serap Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare. Reacting to the ruling, Femi Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, said the intervention of the Ecowas court is a timely relief for millions of Nigerians using Twitter who have been threatened with prosecution under the provision of the penal code relating to sedition. Contrary to the assurance credited to the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, senior advocate of Nigeria, that violators of Twitter would not be prosecuted, the federal government filed processes in the Ecowas court threatening to prosecute Nigerians using Twitter for violating the suspension under the provision of the penal code relating to sedition. It is extremely embarrassing that the federal government could threaten to jail Nigerians for sedition, which was annulled by the Court of Appeal in 1983 in the case of Otto Nwankwo versus the state. The suit and the ruling followed the suspension of Twitter by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, after the social media giant was banned in the country for deleting President Muhammad Buhari's tweet. The National Broadcasting Commission also ordered TVs and radio stations to suspend the patronage of Twitter immediately and told them to delete unpatriotic tweets. The substantive suit has been adjourned to 6th of July 2021 for hearing of the substantive suit. It will be recalled that Serap and the concerned Nigerians had in a suit number ECW-CCJ-APP-23-21 sought an order of interim injunction restraining the federal government from implementing its suspension of Twitter in Nigeria and subjecting anyone, including media houses, broadcasting stations, using Twitter in Nigeria to harassment, intimidation, arrest, and criminal prosecution pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. The suit reads in part, if this application is not urgently granted, the federal government will continue to arbitrarily suspend Twitter and threaten to impose criminal and other sanctions on Nigerians, telecommunication companies, media houses, broadcast stations, and other people using Twitter in Nigeria. The perpetual order sought in this suit might be rendered nugatory. The suspension of Twitter is aimed at intimidating and stopping Nigerians from using Twitter and other social media platforms to access government policy, expose corruption, and criticize acts of official impunity by the agents of the federal government. The free communication of information and idea about public and political issues between citizen and elected representative is essential. This implies a free press and other media able to comment on public issues without censor or restraint and to inform public opinion. The public also has a corresponding right to receive media output. Freedom of expression is a fundamental human right, and the full enjoyment of this right is central to achieving individual freedom and to develop democracy. It is not only the cornerstone of democracy, but indispensable to the thriving civil society. The arbitrary action by the federal government and its agents have negatively impacted millions of Nigerians who carry on their daily business and operational activities on Twitter. The suspension has also impeded the freedom of expression of millions of Nigerians who criticize and influence government policy through the microblogging blog. The suspension of Twitter is arbitrary, and there is no law in Nigeria today permitting the prosecution of people simply for peacefully exercising their human right through Twitter and other social media platforms. The suspension and threat of prosecution by the federal government constitute a fundamental breach of the country's international human rights obligation, including under Article 9 of the African Charter of Human and People's Rights and Article 19 of International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, to which Nigeria is a state party. The suspension has seriously undermined the ability of Nigerians and other people in the country to freely express themselves in a democracy and undermine the ability of journalists, media houses, broadcasting stations, and other people to freely carry out their professional duty. Wow, this is a big achievement for human rights in Nigeria. So much kudos to Serap and the 176 concerned Nigerians who woke up and correct the ill that was about being rolled out. I mean, this is one way to prove that freedom of speech is strictly the fundamental human right of Nigerians, and Nigerians have gone to the social media to react. This one here says, good one, Lai Mohammed and his archaic and obsolete mentors will have sleepless night for some days. This one said, this is a landmark judgment. God bless this justice. Another one said, we are coming to Lagos and by God's grace, nothing bad will happen. No one, Nigeria, don't let people deceive you. It's obvious. I think that one is talking about the Duduwa push who are planning to visit Lagos. This one here says, this is one of the greatest news I have heard this week. I am hopeful that everything will end up in favor of Twitter. Let's start making money again on Twitter. Twitter, we love you. Another one here says, this is a step in the right direction. This is to prove that justice is still the last hope of the common man. Another one here says, this is a good one for us, but that will not stop us from still going straight to Lagos to showcase Oduduwa Republic. So much response from Nigerians. I'd like to leave it there. Go to our comment section. Let's interact. Is this a landmark judgment for the entirety of Nigeria? Or do you think that after everything, there will be influences here and there?